Our guest today is someone that I admire. I love to learn from her, and I find so many aha moments every time she speaks. And I had the ultimate pleasure of helping Social Squares with their Pinterest as well. She will be sharing about how using stock photos in marketing can actually help you save time and level up your business, as well as how to stop trading hours for dollars. So if you are a work from home mom or you're struggling in marketing, this literally podcast is going to be for you. And if it sounds amazing, then stick around because my guest today is absolutely sharing it all. So welcome back, everybody. Today, I am excited to be chatting with Shay Cochrane of Social Squares. Shay's mission is for more people to find greater success sharing their ideas and business with the world. As a commercial photographer and product stylist, her clients spanned the globe, from Sugarfina to Pure Fuji to all kinds of clients. And powerhouse female entrepreneurs like Marie Forleo, Emily Lyons, and Jenna Kutcher, and thousands of others, including myself, love her Social Squares membership, where she put in years of work as a commercial stylist and photographer into a highly curated stock image membership for female entrepreneurs. Her special sauce as a business owner is her 16-hour work week. You heard that correct. We're going to be talking more about that because it blew my mind when I first heard. And her instincts that business should serve our life and not the other way around. Hallelujah. She believes wholeheartedly that the world needs women to thrive in the marketplace, and Social Square's mission is to help more women find greater success sharing their ideas and businesses with the world by supplying them with marketing imagery needed to help them get their message out faster, more consistently, and in an elevated way that helps them to connect and sell. It is a true pleasure to welcome to you, Shay, to my little corner of the podcast world.
Can I hire you as my hype girl? That was like the best ever.
Done. It doesn't hurt that I highly believe in all of that also, right?
Nailed that mission statement. I want to just hire you as my PR hype girl.
You got it. I am there for you.
Thanks for inviting me on here. Man, I live in image world. And so I don't have my own built-in platform for having these kinds of fun, engaging, important conversations. So I just am so grateful for any invite that I get like this to have these conversations. So thank you.
Well, I've been wanting to ask forever, and I just pulled up my big girl underpants and did it. So, and then you said yes. I'm like,
anytime. Anytime.
I feel so Social Squares has literally jettisoned my business because of the people that I've met, because of you, because of being able to help you, and then ultimately be known as helping you for Pinterest has really helped to grow my business. But even if none of that was possible and none of that happened, the images themselves allow me to actually work in my business because I have these professional, gorgeous images that are built to my brand. Yeah. So it's a blessing, and I cannot wait to dig in. But Yay. To get started, as I ask all my guests, tell me about your business and kind of that windy path that took you to Social Squares.
Yeah. Okay. So it started in college with an interest in doing photography. And you and I both have a photography background, right? Yeah. The way that you make money as a photographer is as you do wedding and portraits, So I got into wedding and portrait photography work. Were you in the event world? Were you a photographer, or were you just in wedding events? Or am I totally?
No, wedding photographer and brand photographer. Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to be a photographer, the quote unquote only way to make money as a photographer is a wedding or portrait photographer. So I got into that really early. I started a business doing wedding work right after college. I also worked a corporate job. I worked for the university, and I had a few other jobs, but I did that on the side and just grew it little by little by little, never advertised, just word of mouth. I was a okay wedding photographer. I mean, I think I was happy with the quality of work that I was producing, but I didn't lay in bed at night, dreaming up posing and these fun things I was going to try. I laid in bed with anxiety and like heart palpitations over like, would I be able to do a good job? Like, what if something goes wrong? It just was, it
It
wasn't my
is a
sweet spot.
hard, it is
It's
a
a hard
hard
business.
business.
I mean, you're
Not just
photographing
time, right? But the fact that
physically, it's hard.
yeah, but it's someone's special day that
Yes.
always weighs heavy on us.
It's hard physically, it's hard mentally, it's hard emotionally. You're part counselor, part, photographer. I mean, we could talk all day. It's just, it's grueling work. And what I found was that when I moved from Virginia, which is where I started, to Florida, my husband and I moved to plant a college church. I had a new baby, and I moved to Florida, which is like destination wedding capital of the US. And there's tons of amazing wedding photographers who are phenomenally talented. And I was like, I'm not as excited about my clients' weddings as I should be, and as these other wedding photographers are. And so that's not fair to my client. If I'm, dreading it and it isn't really my creative sweet spot, they deserve to be working with a photographer who just loves it, eats, sleeps, dreams wedding photos. So I realized early on that like I needed to do something else. And this is right around the time I had my first daughter. And I just wanted to own my time in a different way. And my life was changing. I went from, no mom, no, wife, no kids, to now I'm a mom and business owner. And what does that look like? So I went from there to like, what can I do? Okay. I have a camera. I no longer want to shoot people. And I was literally at Home Goods. Do y'all have Home Goods where you are?
We do.
Okay. So I'm in line at Home Goods and I'm checking out, and I'm looking up, and there are these beautiful, like wall to wall commercial images of all this like stuff, like the stuff that they sold in their store, just a beautiful photo. And I was like, I could do that. Like, I think I could, judge things in a frame and sell, like create an image that could be used to sell something. And so I was like, what if I got into commercial photography? I reached out to Emily Lay of Simplified Planners because I had a connection with her, and I was like, this is crazy, but would you ever let me just like shoot your planners and see? I think I could be pretty good at it. But I don't know. Like, I really don't know. So I think we traded. We like traded services. I shot her products. She created my original brand. This is way back when she was doing branding work, so a billion years ago. And I shot for her and loved it and did like a decent job at it. And it really, having commercial imagery from me helped skyrocket what she was doing then, because all of a sudden she had the images to really show what she was building and what she had to offer the world. So it was perfect synergy. And also it was easy barrier of entry for me to get into commercial work because I could just shoot. I didn't have to have anybody to hire me. I could build a portfolio out of my own, like I could build a portfolio to show and substantiate that I could do this. So I then went from there to commercial product photography that you so sweetly included in your introduction. I got to shoot for some awesome, primarily female run huge brands, or they were up and coming brands at the time, like Sugarfina. I was talking directly with the CEO owner, like she was one who personally hired me. So that was cool to be a part of their journey. But then again, I'm having more kids and I just want to own my time differently. I don't want to trade hours for dollars like you're talking about. I only have so many hours in the day. I'm getting paid by the hour. And that led me, and it was actually a client, a customer at the time, a commercial client. I was shooting her products, and she was like, it'd be so helpful. You just shot my product line, but like my whole brand is very Southern and it just really surrounds peaches, like the theme of peaches. Could you just shoot some peaches for me and like various, like just pretty flat lays of peaches so I can use it in my branding and the back end of my website? And yeah, I really think that you could probably just create that kind of stuff and more other people would want it. Like, I don't have to be the only one that has those images of peaches. Like, what if you just made images like that weren't product specific, but that people could use to grow their brand who couldn't afford commercial photography? And at that moment, it was like,
Light
all the
bulb.
stars aligned, and it was the perfect solution to like, how can I get out of trading hours for dollars? How can I reach more people? I was turning away small business owners that didn't have multiple thousands of dollars. I mean, at that point, commercial work with me was like a $10,000 for the day. And then I had smaller projects with other small business owners, but most small business owners can't invest $10,000 in commercial photography. So I was turning away small business owners because I just only had so much time, and I wanted a product I could give them. So that was the genesis of the Etsy stock shop, which was, the first iteration of what is now Social Squares, where I sold individual imagery. And I just was, all of a sudden, it was a merge of what I loved, which was like working with my hands and styling and photography, but I could shoot whatever I wanted.
That is cool.
Right?
You could shoot like whatever.
I was like, babe, I could put cupcakes down and I could shoot cupcakes. And then I could put pencils down and I could shoot pencils, and that would be helpful for someone. And I could shoot a keyboard and that would be helpful it was like mind blowing. Like, wait, I can shoot whatever I want and it could help a company, and it could be a very like low barrier of entry for them to buy these images. Mind blowing stuff. So that was the
and helping more people.
Yeah.
Right.
Scalable. Exactly. I went from having like 10 clients a year to having like hundreds of business owners that I was serving a year. So it was such a cool time. And at the times, this is a while ago, this is 2013. There weren't any styled stock shots. That was a word that I think we actually like started coining, I think, from what I know.
Yes,
there was like Getty Images and iStock was it. And it was all very masculine, very commercially, very cold.
Plain, flat. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Boardrooms and cool grays and like nothing that spoke to women, nothing that spoke to creatives, like creative businesses. And this is all right around the rise of like Etsy shops, and women are entering the online marketplace in droves just because of the opportunity that platforms like Shopify and Etsy provided for them to make and sell either like hard tangible products or digital products. So it was just good timing that I was like, I can do that. I can serve female business owners to scale. And that went from Etsy stock shop individual images to Instagram is getting popular. People need higher volume of like disposable imagery. How can I give them access to more images that are lower resolution that they can use for digital marketing? And then I created the stock box, which was I would send you a, digital box of images. Like, remember when box subscriptions were like first getting popular?
Yes.
So it was Social Squares started out as the SC stock box, and I sent, and overnight, great, people loved it because they were like, I need all these images for Instagram. But then, like 2 months later, 3 months later, it was like people wanted to pick out their own images. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't working. So that was when we were like, we've got to put this on a platform where people can access tons of imagery. And so now it's Social Squares membership. It is a 6,000 plus highly curated image catalog that specifically serves female business owners in all different kinds of industries with all different kinds of beautiful imagery for them to use on everywhere from social platforms to blogs to Pinterest to their website to inside their digital courses or products. So it's a lot of fun, and it's been a wild ride just to iterate it and listen and shift and follow what I love, but also follow what other people need, and finding that synergy. That's like the sweet spot when you're really doing something that you love, but it also actually really helps people. Then it's just magic. So it's kind of just been like, I'm along for the ride.
It is so good. And then you had to, I'm sure, grow into that, hiring a team, doing all the things that go along with it. Okay, so let's focus a bit on the stock photos because they are very beautiful. I wouldn't say light and airy, but they're bright and crisp, which is like true to life colors. I love
like commercial grade, like what you
exactly.
I'll see like an image come through. I'll get sent an image from J. Crew to my inbox, and I'm like, that looks just like a Social Squares image. That could have been a Social Squares image. Like
exactly
that caliber of imagery.
Exactly. And I love that it's geared toward females. So it has a lot of the things that we would want to talk about on social media. How can stock photos help entrepreneurs market their business and save time, right?
Yeah. So, we speak the same language. It's all about showing up, consistently and doing it in a way that's easy for you, reproducible, like you're able to show up regularly, consistently. So what having stock imagery does for you is it removes one of those barriers to showing up, whether it's like on a blog or showing up via a newsletter or showing up via a digital product. Like there's so many barriers to getting content out the door. There's so many barriers to getting digital products out the door, like a PDF or a guide or a course. So since photos are one of those barriers and you could waste so much time and effort creating your own imagery or just endlessly searching the internet through like just loads and loads of really crappy stock
Which
imagery.
also makes your business or your brand not cohesive, right?
Right.
Because it's all different
Right. If you're
lighting scenarios.
yeah, you're just
Whoa.
piecemealing it, pulling it from everywhere. Exactly. So what we try to do is give women the images that they need to help them show up consistently so that they can blog multiple times a week, so that they can show up on Instagram multiple times a week, or whatever the platforms that they want to be on. We want to make sure they can do that so that they can take their most popular blog post and create 10 fresh Pinterest pins out of it and show up, or whatever the standard
Thank
is
you.
now, okay, this is your wheelhouse.
Yes.
So they can't create those 10 fresh pins if they don't have the images to do that, to make them look unique and to be individual. So that's where we kind of enter. And I think the other thing that we do is, man, it's so hard as a new business owner because you really have a lot to prove to the world, and everyone has such a short attention span, and everyone's being bombarded with marketing messages all day long. So it's more important now than ever that if someone interacts with your brand, even if it's like a 2-second scroll, that they are seeing the perceived value, that you're increasing the perceived value of your brand from the very beginning. So you may have, and all of your listeners are smart people, they have really amazing products and services to offer the world. If you don't promote it, A, no one's going to know about it. But B, if you put those great products and services in a brown paper bag, AKA like cheesy styled stock that you get for $5 off of Creative Market that 5 billion other small business owners are also using, that's made up of cheesy props and it's kind of grainy and the styling isn't very great. Like you would never put like a Tiffany bracelet in a brown paper bag and hand it to someone. Like you would never, like if you have something awesome to offer, don't dress it up in sweats. Like you need to dress it up, like give it the outsides to match the insides, because you're only going to get a second's worth of time to convince someone that I'm legit, I'm an authority, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to do a great job, you can trust me. Like all of that is what good imagery does and supports. And unfortunately, in the mind of your potential product or your potential customer, your product or service is only as good as the images that you use to promote it.
Period.
So you can be a genius if you do not dress it up in a way that someone says, oh, wow, this girl looks like she knows what she's doing. Has she been in business for 10 years? Oh, wait, nope. She's only been in business for 10 weeks. But her site and her brand visuals make me feel like, wow, this is super legit. I can trust her. So I think we do that. So that's the time piece. That's the helping them to show up in a polished way that gives them a chance to build know, like, trust. It helps them to show up more consistently so that they're actually seeing traction. All of the above is where we try to kind of like come in and support business owners.
And affordable.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
not
affordable.
Every entrepreneur can get, a professional shoot every month or every quarter even. So
we're talking about like less than what you spend at Target in one run. Cause I can't leave Target with like less than $60. No matter if I just went in for toothpaste. So we're talking like the cost of a Target shirt or a pair of Target shoes is what we're talking about for Social Squares.
And, a lot of people, they will think that stock photos are sort of impersonal or that it's not an effective tool. How can clients use them in ways that extend their brand or even work side by side with, professional photos that they have of themselves?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I mean, I think from an authenticity perspective, we work really hard. Like stock photo, because I was in the game for a long time, I've seen how stock photos have evolved and changed. And when I first started SC Stock Shop, it was very polished. It was very tidy. It was very beautiful, visually beautiful. Now you see a lot more variety in stock photos, and we work really hard to create imagery that does feel real, that does look authentic. But the reality is that, like, a photo of, let's just use an example right now. Okay. Let's talk about my desktop right now. Case in point, I'm just going to pull two things for you. This is the remnants of my lunch. Okay. So if we're photographing my real desktop, and I am a legit business owner, like I have a legit business, and I have snacks, and I have my water bottle,
Crumbs
like
and
my
wires
empty coffee
everywhere,
cup,
rubber
and yeah,
bands,
it's a mess.
contacts.
So me, if I were to share, oh, my work day, I don't know if anybody's gonna want to really gonna spend that kind of money with me. It just looks like I'm just a struggling entrepreneur, but I'm not, right? Like, I'm legit. I've been doing this for a long time. Like, I have value to offer. So why not show a beautiful desktop? Like, I'm looking back at these images.
I
Why not let
know.
us create a beautiful image for you of a desktop that is very authentic, that you are working on a laptop and have a cup of coffee, but we're just presenting it in an elevated but still real. If you have a quality product or service, then a quality image to represent it is very authentic. What would be inauthentic is if you have a quality product or service and you're marketing it with like dark, grainy images of like you in your sweatpants, and like that's not helping anybody, and that's not really authentic, because you are a serious professional and you do have something to offer the world, even if it is in your sweatpants. So there's just the perceived value point there is a big one. And then you said able to blend it with commercial, so brand photography.
Mhm.
It is very important that at some point you invest in brand photography, primarily of your face. Like, what we can't
Yes.
do is we cannot be your face. And people, if you want to have a brand, personal centric brand, which not everyone does. So if you want to have a business like yours where you are actively involved and people are buying from a person, then you're going to need to show your face, and you need to do that in a professional way, a way that's elevated. Um, so yes, that needs to happen. Also, if you have a product, like, you do need to have product photos. This doesn't replace that. This just supports all of that. But I would venture to guess you probably would use a lot more of these images than your brand photo. You're just kind of sprinkling the face brand
Correct.
photos
Ain't
in,
no, yeah,
and
exactly.
it all works. And but there's a lot of business owners that they don't want to be the face of their brand. And so what are they going to take photos of? They're not a photographer. Let's say they're a coach. They don't want to be the face of the brand. They want to provide the service. I mean, coach would be a bad example because they would probably be the face of the service. But you
But
see
no,
where
but
I'm
I get
going
what
with
you're,
it.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it just let them do what they do well, and not feel like their face has to always be on camera in order for the business to be marketed online. So that's
Well, it's funny because I will sometimes play a game with myself when I'm going in the gallery and I'm like, okay, I'm this type of business. And I
yeah,
can immediately find photos for that type of business.
yeah.
You have everything from wedding type photos
Mhm.
to holistic type photos to
Self-care,
fitness photos.
food.
Like,
Yep.
I can't find a space that you haven't
Yeah.
covered.
You don't have a
And
lot of pet stuff. That's a
that,
hole in the catalog.
yeah,
That's about it.
well, yeah. Well, I think you do have a dog photo in one of, I think
I
you
think
do.
I think
I mean, a handful, maybe. But what I find fascinating is everywhere else that I went, my brand is hot pink.
Mhm.
And almost nobody has
Have
like
hot
hot
pink.
pink, right?
Mhm.
But what I love so much is you have hot pink, you have the light pink, you have like all of my different
All the
brand
tones.
colors
Yeah.
so that I can make them all mold and mash up together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is pretty cool.